This is my 2024 E-Rides Pro SS. I've always wanted a Surron ever since I was a young teenager, around 2018, back when they were equipped with the square wave controller, before the X controller. This means before the regen came out. The motor was louder, the throttle response was choppy, and nobody had videos on it at the time. But if you're anything like me, you've watched seemingly every single YouTube video, read every Reddit post, and pilfered through user manuals and technical spec sheets on these bikes to make the most informed decisions possible. Now, I've ridden a Surron before, and it was fun but underwhelming. However, most of my PEV miles are on various electric unicycles, such as the Bigode Master, the Bigode RS, and an InMotion V8. The reason I pulled the trigger on this bike versus a Talaria or Surron is because of that 72-volt system. The factor always holding me back from buying a Surron was that I'd have to spend about $3,000 on a controller and battery to make it as fast as I desire. I bought this bike with my own money. In fact, it's the most expensive thing I've ever bought, more than my car and more than my EUCs. Now I feel like Surronster and Talaria boys didn't quite give this bike a shot. They're going to prefer the bikes that they are most used to, being the Surron and Talaria respectively. Everybody doubts the new kid on the block. Some differences between the Pro SS and other bikes are first off the brakes. Compared to the Surron, this bike ships with 220mm rotors front and back, compared to the 203mm rotors the Surron comes with. The suspension is different too. The rear shock is the same size and likely of similar quality and compatibility as the Surron. However, the linkage is different. Now, I'm no engineer yet, so I can't tell you that the linkage design is stronger or better, but it is a noticeable difference from the Surron. Some smaller but equally important details are the much brighter headlight and slightly better tires out of the box. Now, the biggest and most exciting contrast of this bike when put up against the Surron or Talaria is that it comes equipped with a 72-volt system out of the box. That means a heck of a lot more power. In fact, almost double when looking at the Surron. According to Electric Cycle Rider's website, the Surron comes with a 6 kilowatts of peak power, and on E-Ride's website, they claim the Pro SS has a whopping 12 kilowatts of peak power. And you can feel it. This thing is wicked fast for its size and price range. Speaking of price range, this one's a tough pill to swallow. The Pro SS comes in at $5,250 shipped, or $5,750 if you live in California due to taxes. For comparison, a Surron from Luna Cycles sits at around $4,600 when buying from them. On my first ride, all I could think of was, wow, this bike feels so fast. Even in eco mode, the front wheel just wants to come up. The suspension feels plush, so I might need some adjustment there. Sport mode feels similar to the torque of a Honda 150R. The grips leave a bit to be desired. The pegs feel much better than a stock Surron, being that they are grippier and wider. The sound is louder than I thought it would be. It could be the chain or belt tension needing adjustment, but it sounds like the controller is whining. The bike feels so light and playful compared to a dirt bike. Belt and chain tension seem really tight out of the box. The brakes definitely need to be bedded in as they suck the first ride. Not a fan of the brake cutout sensors, so I disconnected them. As I put a few more miles on the bike, I gathered more thoughts. Again, this bike is loud. People all around you can hear it, and it gets annoying at times. Now, this is hopefully unique to me, but no charger was included in the box when I took delivery. Being that this was a mistake on their part, I emailed and called in hopes for resolution. After getting in contact with them, the charger came about 3 days later. It was absolute torture waiting for it to come, being how fun this bike is to ride. Just to run down some specs again, this bike pushes 12 kilowatts, weighs about 140 pounds, and specs a 72-volt 40-amp-hour battery paired with a 58-tooth sprocket and 220mm brake rotors front and back. When I was doing my research, people were saying the welds weren't good and that the Surron had better weld quality. After owning this bike, I disagree. I think these welds are fine and equal to or better than a Surron. People just want to nitpick. Same thing with the linkage. Originally people were saying it had no linkage at all. This is not true, although the suspension design is different from that of the Surron. There doesn't appear to be a triangle like the Surron, but the linkage is definitely there. Grit Shift has a neat close-up on how it works if you'd like to know more. The assembly of the bike was not terribly hard, although the manual online that they provide leaves a bit to be desired. They didn't mention that you need to put the throttle and headlight switch on before you put the handlebars on. Maybe common sense, but I missed that part and had to reassemble the handlebars twice. Overall, I love the bike and am very happy with what E-Rides has come out with. It would be my go-to recommendation for anyone looking for this kind of e-moto. If you thought this review was helpful, well-made, or informative, I'd greatly appreciate it if you could leave a like or a comment, which will help this video reach more people and inspire me to make more content like this. From here on out, I'll leave you with some clips and POV footage of me testing the bike out. Thanks for watching.